Most of the time, when you hear that a man has many children by many different women, most people blame the man. It is all the man's fault. The women are innocent, helpless victims of a man's lies. A man's false promises. It is my opinion that in the United States or in the West, it is the woman that is 100% to blame. 100% to blame for each child, from the first to the last child, she has out of wedlock. In other countries, because of cultural differences, it might be the man alone or both the man and the woman who are to blame. But here in the United States, it is the woman that is 100% to blame. I will explain after you watch the video clips.
So, and we also have 5 other men who have multiple children with different women. Nathaniel, stand up. How many children?
28.
How many women?
16.
Terrence?
4
children with
2 different women.
Yeah. Ryan?
Almost 5 children with 4.
Almost 5.
Yes,
now talk to me about an almost 5.
I have another baby due November 22nd.
So 4 children.
4 children.
How many mothers?
4 different women.
4 different women.
Yes.
And you got a baby on the way. Okay. And John?
6 baby mothers, 11 children.
11 children. And Jumani?
I have 6 children with 4 different women.
4 different women.
Yes, ma'am.
Now here's what I want us to get. That these men collectively have 87 children, that includes Jay, with 50 different women. But how did you get to 3 children? You would have had 4 too, but you have 3. At what point do you say, no?
When I had nothing else.
What do you
Nothing
mean?
else for myself, to give to my children, my friends, even have family turn their nose up to.
The real reason I stayed was?
Because I didn't want to be alone.
You own that?
I can own that.
Let me hear it.
The real reason I stayed because I didn't want to be alone.
Why did you stay?
I stayed because I accepted. I just settled. I settled, and in my settling, I was fighting myself to get out.
Why did you stay?
The same reason, I think. Being alone. I didn't want to be alone.
Because if you were alone, what?
I would begin to think about things from the past or things that hurt me.
What was in
I
the
was
chick?
missing companionship, and so I
So the
thought
person that gave you companionship and the promise of a future. Thank you for that.
I mean, it's just not right.
Thank you for that honesty.
You made me think that this was going to be something that wasn't.
Don't you dare put that tissue down.
I can't give him
No. He's a big boy. Let him take care of himself.
Doesn't matter. I can take care of myself.
Let him take care of himself.
I paused the video because these women are full of shit. Their excuse is that she did not want to be alone. Because being alone would make her think about stuff that hurt her. Plus, the man provided promises that they would be together. We men are alone all the time. We men have to ask or beg women if we can buy them things, such as dinner, lunch or a movie. Plus, we men get rejected over and over again. When I look back to when I was in college, most of the men in college did not have a girlfriend. Thus we were all alone. Most men were not having sex. Even the really good-looking men were not having sex on a steady basis. Women put or place most good-looking men in the category of marriage material. So for these men, women would act like good girls. They would make the man pay for dates, take them on dates, make the man wait and prove himself. So if you were poor, you were not having sex on a steady basis, even if you were good-looking. For all the other men, girls would put or place these men in their friend zone. They would use these men as emotional support. A lot of us men have to deal with or handle our trauma or our past hurt and pain alone. If we men talk about our past hurt and pain, women look at us as being weak, stupid, and they do not want to hear it. However, we have to listen to all of their shit. So does this mean that the average man is emotionally and psychologically stronger than the average woman? Or does it mean that these women are full of shit and making excuses for themselves for not wanting to be responsible adults? This man has 34 children by many women, but the video is only showing 4 of the women.
34 children. You never said, let me use a condom?
I did use condoms.
Did it ever dawn on you, let me get a vasectomy?
The host puts all the blame on the man, and asks why he did not use birth control. However, a man has no control over a woman's body. Plus, in the United States, birth control is almost free, and in many parts of the United States, birth control is free. So the women themselves could have taken birth control. Therefore, if the women did not want to get pregnant, then why was she not taking birth control? Why is all of the blame always placed on the man?
This is now a consequence of your behavior, years and years, for which no one has ever held you accountable.
The host said no one have ever held the man accountable, but what about the women? For years and years the women could have taken birth control, but baby after baby, no one held the women accountable.
What's the ages of your children?
9, 6, 5, and 2.
And yours is?
She's 5.
So were you all pregnant at the same time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And how old are your children?
11, 12, and 5.
Yeah.
All three of y'all were pregnant at the same time?
Yes.
The man already had children when he met these women. Thus, he was paying child support. If you are paying child support for more than 2 kids, then you do not have enough money to buy a cup of coffee. So when these women met the man, they cannot say he was a high-earning man. Thus, these women knew what type of man he was before they had the first child. Plus, all of these women were pregnant at the same time by this man. While at the same time, this man was attempting to get with new women. Therefore, he was not spending enough time with any of these women to where you can call it a relationship. He was basically coming over to their house, having sex and then leaving. Like with most of these types of women and many other women who have children out of wedlock, these women knew what type of man he was before they had the first child. These women knew what type of man he was before they had the second and third child. Yet, these women decided to get pregnant. Thus, taking no responsibility. Plus, like many women who have children out of wedlock, these women are not teenagers. These are adult women. We men have no control over a woman's body. We men cannot force a woman to have sex without us going to prison. This man and all the other men never forced sex on any of these women. Plus, in the United States, birth control is almost free, and in many parts of the United States, birth control is free. So the women themselves could have taken birth control. Thus, these adult women did not want to take any responsibility for getting pregnant. The host never took any of this into account or consideration. Instead, the host just blamed the man and asked him what is he going to do about the children. The man had no control over the woman's body. Thus, no control over whether the woman will get pregnant. So why should it be his responsibility to take care of the children? When you say this to a woman, all they do is become upset and angry. And yet, they provide no counterargument and just call you names. Plus, YouTube said that this video has harmful content. So, like many of my videos, many people will never see this video. If these women did not want to take any responsibility for getting pregnant means that there are other parts of their life where they do not want to take responsibility for their actions. No reasonable or good man wants to be with a woman who does not want to take responsibility for her actions. The host blames everything on the man, implying that all we men do is have many babies by innocent helpless women who have no control over their bodies, or no control over becoming pregnant. The host does not tell any of the women they should also be accountable for their actions. Thus the host is supporting women not taking accountability for their actions. Now, while you are watching the next video clip, please remember that over 54% of black men in the United States have never been married. Plus, these men are childless and have middle-class incomes. So there are a lot of good black men in the United States.
Working things out to see how it will go, but obviously it's been a big lie. Everything out the whole relationship through all the kids. It's just been a lie. To know that so I can move on.
Yeah. You're in love with, in lust with, in heat with, is sleeping with another woman, go get you a Bob. You know what a Bob is? Mm-hmm. A battery-operated boyfriend. You're in the healing process right now.
Yep.
And what do you think you're healing?
Myself.
From?
From the hurt, the pain, and getting back myself, getting my power back. And that's what I felt I lost.
Did he take it or did you give your power away?
I gave it away.
Okay. And what do you have to heal?
My self-worth, to be honest.
How many of us have settled for and attracted men who can't even meet the basic criteria? Raise your hand, come on.
People have to understand the type of man these women like and keep having children with are the good time or the fun man. They are not the responsible and reliable man. When these women were young, they liked men who created drama, such as not knowing if the man was with another woman, or if the man would call. Basically, a man that plays a lot of games. All of us other men are boring, dull and not exciting. However, when many of these types of women reach the age of 27 or more, then they want a house and a real family. These women become sick of being poor, sick of struggling, and are now emotionally drained from years of game playing. Now they want a stable man. A man who is reliable and responsible. They want the boring and dull men they rejected in their past. The women want the men they had children with to change and want the same stuff, but these men cannot change. These men cannot provide what these women want. These types of women keep hoping and hoping, but things never get any better. They are stuck in the cycle of game playing. Game playing on both sides. These women knew what type of man he was before they had their first child with him. Yet, they still decided to have a child with him anyway. Even if the woman did not understand what type of man he was, she still had complete control over her body and birth control. Thus, there was no reason to have the first child. There is no justification for the second or third child. This is taking place all over the United States. Women do not want to take responsibility for their actions, because it is easier to blame it all on the man. In the black community, 30% of babies are from married couples. 54% of black men did what they were supposed to do. Not have any babies until we are married and have the income to support a family. Thus, these 54% are childless, have never been married and have middle-class incomes. Therefore, 20% of the black men in the United States are producing over 70% of the babies in the black community. Thus, this indicates that most black men in the United States are responsible. But these women keep picking or choosing men that are unresponsible and unreliable. And afterward, they cannot take accountability for their bad decisions. Plus, other women do not hold them accountable for their bad choices. Instead, they blame everything on the man. If we men are so bad, then why do women in other countries want men from the United States or Western men in general? This question forces women to look at themselves, thus forcing them to take some type of accountability. This makes them upset and angry because they have been told all their lives. They have been told that it is the man's fault. It is the man who is to blame. These video clips are from the Oprah Winfrey Network. For my foreign viewers, the Oprah Winfrey Show was on television for about 24 years. She is considered to be one of the most influential women on television and in the world. The Oprah Winfrey Show started in 1982. Plus, considering that my 80-something-year-old aunts also say that it was not the women's fault. The women are not to blame. All of this means that for generations, from the time a woman is born to the day she dies, women have been taught and made to believe that women are innocent, helpless victims, and men are trash. Thus, what you men are experiencing is not from social media, but from generations of media telling women this stuff. Thus, social media is not to blame. Social media is just part of a long line of media that has been pushing this narrative. Plus, do not forget that most social workers are female and the sisterhood echoes the same message to each other. This has been taking place for generations. It is now so bad that almost all of the videos I post on YouTube regarding men's issues are flagged by YouTube. Thank you for watching. Please click the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and share this video.